CTV News at 5 with Tony Rima and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tony is off. Details so far remain few and far between about Sault Ste. Marie's latest homicide. On Saturday, police were called over reports of a badly injured person that later passed away. CTV's Corey Nordstrom starts us off tonight.
Detectives with the Sault Ste. Marie Police are investigating after the city's third homicide of the year was reported over the weekend here on Poplar Avenue. Right now, there are few details that police representatives are able to give as the investigation is still in its early stages.
On Saturday evening, 911 communicators did receive a phone call of someone being injured in the 100 block of Poplar Avenue. Officers did respond. They found somebody suffering life-threatening injuries, and as you mentioned, they later succumbed to those injuries.
Things looked much different Sunday afternoon on Poplar Avenue as police taped off a large portion of the neighborhood to conduct their work, having now lifted the scene as the investigation continues. Police would not say the nature of the victim's injuries or where in the crime scene they were found by first responders. They did add that next of kin have been notified. Police are also requesting the community's assistance to help in the investigation.
We've put out a couple of pieces of information, and we are urging anybody that lives in the area or may have frequented the area on Saturday evening to, obviously check any video surveillance they may have or dash cam, or if they think they heard something, obviously to please contact us so detectives can follow up those leads.
Police officials say that in order to protect the integrity of the investigation, they cannot release additional details on the case, but hope that more information can be shared with the public in the following days. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Time for your first check on weather. For more details, we go to CTV's Rick Wyman. And Rick, gotta say, it's looking pretty good out there.
Ian, here we go with another weekend, a great stretch of weather in our forecast, brought to you by, of course, CAA. Get your membership today at caa.ca. Take a look at our systems map right now. We've got sunshine for a couple of days, a slight chance of showers right across the northeast come Wednesday, but then again, more sunshine rolling into, well, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So again, get ready for a good string of weather, but it's going to be cooler. Friday evening's temperature, stick around for that in the 5-day forecast. You won't believe how low it will go come Friday night across the northeast. Ian, back to you.
Thanks, Rick. Well, one person is dead and another injured after a rollover Sunday near Sudbury. A logging truck rolled over onto the on-ramp to Highway 11 from Highway 124 early yesterday morning in Strong Township. The 70-year-old driver from Huntsville was transported to hospital and later pronounced dead. The passenger in the vehicle was also taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The city of Timmins is researching options for an encampment location as one that's currently in a residential area is raising safety concerns. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
They're always screaming and yelling. They try to come in our yard. They try coming in our house.
The encampment behind Chastity Dugay's home on Spruce Street South makes her feel unsafe every day.
I got in a fist fight with a lady the other day because she was smoking crack in our yard, and we asked her if she could please leave. And I still have bruises.
Dugay says whenever she can't deal with a situation herself, she calls Timmins police and figures she's called at least 100 times for help.
They're usually here fairly quickly. It just depends how busy they are. They come when they can, and then they can arrest them, and then the people are out the next day. And then it's just the same thing.
A few weeks ago, Dugay says she wrote to the city to complain about the encampment, and it's finally getting some attention, such as on Friday. But she wants the encampment gone.
They need somewhere to go. I don't know where that place can be. I don't really have any suggestions. I just don't want it behind our house. We have little kids that live up the street.
Timmins councillor Bill Gazdanovich says the city is working on it.
And I knew it was going to come back to one site, and that's what we're looking at doing. Now it's a matter of finding a place away from residential, and if they choose to have a tent or any kind of encampment, that's where they're going to go. If people don't want to stay in a shelter and they want to have a tent, they're not just going to put it wherever they feel like. Okay, we're going to decide where that's going to take place.
In the meantime, the city's hired security guards to patrol a 2-kilometer area around the encampment for a month.
There was 4 of them on the Monday because they're just, I think, getting familiar with everything and learning what they want them to report back. But I have seen them.
Council now waits for a report on potential locations for an encampment and on who owns the land where the encampment is situated. Living Space says the encampment area is a separate entity. However, it says its doors are always open to provide services to whomever wants to become a client. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Reports of gunshots in a North Bay apartment yesterday resulted in a heavy police presence on Rose Avenue. Police evacuated the building after receiving a call around 1 a.m. They searched the building and found no evidence of a firearm and no arrests were made. Residents were finally cleared to return to their homes shortly after 5 p.m. An impaired driver was charged near Sturgeon Falls Saturday after hitting a dead moose. OPP were called to Highway 17 near the landfill site road after a commercial vehicle hit a moose. While the transport was pulled over, a woman in a passenger vehicle hit the dead moose, rolling her car over. The 43-year-old was treated for minor injuries and police found the woman to be intoxicated. Time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5. Rick has your full weather forecast. For now, let's go to a live shot of Gitley's Lake up in Timmins. This view coming courtesy of the city, and it is looking absolutely stunning up there. A great day to be down at the lake and enjoy, but will it hold? Weather Wyman will have your details coming up after this. Stay with us. You're watching CTV Northern Ontario.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Certainly hope you had a great weekend. My neighbor said to me on Saturday, you said 40% chance of showers. This was about midday. I said, give it time. And guess what? It rained that night on Saturday, at least in Greater Sudbury. You know what? The weather, just like the mail, it never stops. Forecast radar, this is what we've got going on right now. For the next little while, no rain until at least Wednesday with a slight chance of showers, as it will skim through the northeast by, well, give it a couple of days. Then we'll get into some of the details as of right now. But again, the forecast looks pretty good. Sudbury, Nickel Belt, sunshine a couple of days, 25, 26. Thursday, here we go with the chance of showers, 21, at least according to Environment Canada. Sun and cloud Friday, Saturday, bit of a cool down. Take a look at 3 degrees on Friday night, Sudbury, Nickel Belt. Meanwhile, in Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, mainly sunny tomorrow. Sunny on Wednesday at 24, slight chance of showers on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, well, 16 and 18, only 5 degrees on Friday night in the Sault and Algoma. So the cool down is coming. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, sunshine for a couple of days, 26, 27. Chance of showers on Thursday, 16, 14 on Friday, +1 Friday night. In Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, 18 Saturday, the daytime high with the sun and cloud. Timmins or Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, 25, 27. Sunshine both days. Chance of showers again on Thursday. 14 on Friday, the daytime high. Winter, winter, chicken dinner. We've got our first 0 of the season coming up Friday night. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. I had to point that out. Saturday, 18 and warming up to, well, 5 overnight. So again, those lower temperatures are coming. North Bay, West Nipissing, here we go. Sunshine for a couple of days. This is for Mike, by the way, a big weather fan in North Bay. 24, 26 for tomorrow and Wednesday. Chance of showers on Thursday, 23. 17 Friday, sun and cloud, a low of 3. Saturday, some sun and cloud. 18, your daytime high. So, Ian, some cooler temperatures are coming, especially Friday night. This could be a harbinger of things to come. Back to you.
Let's hope not. Thanks, Rick. Well, with the leaves beginning to change, officials with the Trans-Canada Trail are challenging Canadians to hit the trails this fall for a good cause. The Great Canadian Hike challenges and encourages bikers, hikers, and paddlers of all skill levels to log 30,000 kilometers in 30 days. The Trans-Canada Trail is approximately 30,000 kilometers, with Northern Ontario making up almost a sixth of the province's 6,400 kilometer trail total. Funds raised support maintenance and improving trails across Canada, including increasing accessibility.
That could include things like removing debris or fixing a trail surface. But some of it is also more to support the sector as well. So as we know, trail sections are often supported by volunteers, and those volunteers need things like equipment, training, and help with improving things like accessibility along their trail. That could look like benches or washrooms, or just the grading and spacing of the trail as well.
The campaign kicks off Saturday and runs until October 19th. Well, fire crews in Sault Ste. Marie had a busy weekend battling 3 different blazes, one resulting in a hospitalization and another has been deemed suspicious. The first was in the 300 block of Wellington Street East Saturday morning. No one was home and crews were able to contain and put out the fire. Just 5 hours later, crews were called to Sutton Place, where one person had to be taken to hospital after fire tore through the second story of their semi-detached home. The cause of the blaze has not been determined, and neither has the cause for a second house fire on Wellington Street East, this time in the 700 block. Early morning Sunday, crews were called to the vacant home, also took considerable smoke and fire damage as a result of the blaze. Another milestone has been marked on the return of the passenger rail service to northeastern Ontario's corridor. CTV's Eric Tashner explains.
The new era of the Northlander.
Ontario Northland is eagerly waiting for the day it can say, all aboard.
The North deserves and requires a passenger rail service.
And as that day gets closer, work continues to chug along to restore passenger rail service to Northern Ontario. The North Bay Rail Bypass, a 982-metre section of track the Ontario government invested $5.7 million towards to complete, will improve travel times to the North Bay station by 15 minutes.
We need people to have viable alternatives to get to Toronto. Look at here in North Bay. We used to be 4 Air Canada flights a day. We are going to be 4 a week starting in November.
This track will ensure the soon-to-be new Northlander will avoid the busy North Bay rail yard and keep them clear of active CN, Ottawa Valley Railway, and Ontario Northland freight trains. Ontario Northland anticipates the approximate travel time, with regular stops included, will take between 4 and 5 hours.
We're on schedule and we're on budget.
The 3 new train sets are in the manufacturing stage. Ontario Northland is set to receive the first complete train set in early 2026. Then a series of tests and commissioning will take place. That's expected to take several months.
We run all the systems, the big ones like the locomotive, the brakes. We run the little ones like the coffee maker and the washrooms, and we make sure that it works.
Ontario Northland is still working on ticket prices and the arrival departure schedule for the 16-stop train service from Cochrane to Toronto. A fare strategy was submitted to the Ministry of Transportation for review.
Passengers in the north want an affordable service, an accessible service, and it's with those principles that we're going to price these tickets.
The Northlander revival is expected to create 80 new jobs, as getting it back on track remains a top priority. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, a new study involving dizziness is hoping to create a tool to improve patient care. Plus, a group of local filmmakers are getting set to make their reveal debut tomorrow at Cinéfest. Work is underway on a new study using Sudbury's Vertigo risk score. Researchers are hoping to create a reliable tool that improves patient care. It's all thanks to a grant worth more than $750,000 from the Canada Institutes of Health Research. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
The risk score provides questions for physicians to ask in order to determine the immediate risk of reported dizziness. Dr. Robert Ole is hoping to use Sudbury's Vertigo risk score to better understand quicker and convenient treatments for patients in emergency settings.
Dizziness is a really common complaint in the emergency department. And it's tough for emergency medicine physicians because we don't have great guidance on deciding of those patients that present who is suffering from a serious diagnosis and who is safe to be discharged home.
The Sudbury Vertigo risk score is currently being tested to validate the effectiveness for emergency physicians to identify high-risk dizziness patients. The funding is also improving NOSM students' learning about very common emergency department patients. Dr. Michael Green said in the release, when research, teaching, and clinical practice come together, patients, especially those in rural and northern communities, see the direct benefit. Dr. Ole says the data is important to Northern Ontario, as in Southern Ontario populations, referrals are more convenient than in the north.
Northern Ontario, patients oftentimes have to travel long distance to see specialists. So referring them to somebody has a big impact on the patient. So it's more important than ever for us to be able to accurately identify who actually needs to make that trip to see the neurologist, who needs to be transferred to a center to have advanced imaging.
According to HSN, most cases of dizziness are benign. However, some dizziness can be a sign of life-threatening conditions. Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's day 3 at Cinéfest, and film buffs have gathered from across the region for yet another day of amazing cinema. A short film making its premiere tomorrow at Cinéfest is hoping to spark some conversation. Not only is it multilingual, it's multicultural and set in a dystopian future. The film is called Can You Feel It Now? To the film's creators, it's a poetry-driven exploration of memory, connection, and ancestral teachings. A retelling of voluntary contact between Black and Indigenous people, highlighting the story around the welcomer and the traveler.
Trying to make this a voluntary meeting of two peoples in a grander context of genocide, of violence, and of displacement.
Filmed entirely in Doquis and Nipissing First Nations, the team behind it are either from the north or at least have a connection to it. Having the film debut at Cinéfest in Sudbury is a special homecoming of sorts.
To have it so close to home, you can have all of these conversations that exist, all the people that you know and have seen you grown up come and support you, and for Rana as well, and for Isaac, it's really just beautiful to have our community at our disposal.
We kind of play around with this idea of solidarity between these two people.
The characters share their history, their culture through poetry. For the film's director, Isaac Valancourt, it's deeply personal.
With an experimental film like this, you have a lot more creative liberties. You could really play around with non-conventional storylines, and you could really be flexible with it. So it's also really unique.
The film is multilingual. Moviegoers will hear poetry in English, Anishinaabemowin, Uruba, Karindi, and Swahili. The film's creators say the blending between African and Indigenous languages was intentional. Everything is also subtitled.
It pushes people towards trying to imagine a future where we don't have to see the destruction, to see the resurgence of connection, of community, of these cultural conversations that really lead to a prosperous future.
Can You Feel It Now makes its world premiere tomorrow at 4 at Cinéfest before carrying on in the film festival route. When we return, we'll take a look at your community close up. You're watching First at 5.
It was one of the biggest nights in the Canadian country music scene. Coop, the CCMA Awards just wrapped up this past weekend. We saw some big winners, some big performances as well. Josh Ross, definitely a big winner of the night. Entertainer of the Year, one of the biggest awards you could receive in Canadian country music. And that's on top of scoring, Single of the Year and Video of the Year for Single Again.
You know what's cool is these artists that you may have seen watching the CCMAs, we play them all on Pure Country Radio, which is awesome. And one artist who we've been playing a little bit more of as of late, his name is Cameron Whitcomb. He actually won Fans' Choice and also Breakthrough Artist or Group of the Year, which is huge for him.
Yeah, and of course, Mackenzie Porter taking home Female Artist of the Year. Such an awesome accolade to add to her resume.
A group that's been to Sudbury many times, James Barker Band, they won Group or Duo of the Year. Jade Eagleson, Male Artist of the Year.
Can't go wrong there. And Owen Riegling, how about that? Taking home Album of the Year for Bruce County from the beginning.
Yeah, Owen Riegling also just at the Massey Fair just a few weeks ago in the Sudbury area. As we said, you can listen to all of those artists that won big at the CCMAs on Pure Country, 91.7 on the radio dial, online, purecountry917.ca, or for free on the all-new iHeartRadio app.
Hockey Hall of Famer goaltender and Sudbury native Eddie Giacomin has passed away. Giacomin spent 13 seasons in the National Hockey League from 1965 to 1978, playing for the New York Rangers and Detroit Red Wings. He was a 4-time All-Star, a Vezina Trophy winner, and was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1987. Giacomin's jersey is one of only 10 the New York Rangers have retired in their storied history. Exhibition play continues over in the OHL, and it was a tough Sunday for a few of our northern teams. The Sioux Greyhounds fell to their division rivals, the Saginaw Spirit, by a score of 8-5, and despite a valiant comeback, The Sudbury Wolves just couldn't catch up to the Frontenacs. Kingston comes away with the 6-4 win. And just a pair of regular season games over in the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. The Hearst Lumberjacks were in Espanola taking on the Paper Kings, and they cruised to an easy 5-2 victory, and the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners beat the Iroquois Falls Storm by a score of 6-2. Time now for our community close-up, and for that we begin in the city of Sudbury. This is a shot I've driven past many times, but I don't know if I've ever seen it from this angle. Martin Bibby sent us this incredible shot of Minute Lake, and it's looking cool. I guess we're getting to that time of year where the seasons change. Thanks for sharing with us, Martin. Ted Gunn of Sudbury was at Silver Lake and managed to catch one of 2 water lilies left for the season. Absolutely calendar worthy. They're always so pretty when you run into these two. Thanks, Ted. St. Joseph's Island has been on my list of places that I'm going to have to visit, and I'm going to have to do it sooner than later if Shauna Rimke's photo is any indication. She captured this great sunrise shot at 7:30 over the weekend. What an incredible view. Thank you, Shauna. Finally, Barbara Niles of Sunridge came across this large mushroom while hiking near their home. Wanting to get a picture and show the scale of its size, some chickadees were glad to help. Very cool. Thanks, Barbara. If you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. Finally, the Sudbury Symphony Orchestra is busy preparing for a brand new season. This week, the Magical Symphony Tour takes the stage, an orchestral rendition of the Beatles' second album next month. The main stage concert of the season is Classical Mega Hits Volume 2. Both shows are led by conductor William Rowson, who says he's looking forward to an exciting season.
We wanted to feature the great talent that is here in Sudbury. And in fact, last night we hosted community auditions for the first time in a long time here. And I was just blown away with some of the players that came out and auditioned. We'll have some new members of the orchestra that way, and some new soloists.
The Magical Symphony Tour opens on Friday. They always put on such an incredible show. It would be well worth taking in that concert. There's more news for the North coming up at 6. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.